Hello everybody and welcome back. As always, I am Mateo311 and this is your one channel for everything VR related. Today, we're going to be talking about VR YouTubers selling out, and since this is such an important topic, I decided to come on camera, something I don't do very often. So, if you were expecting me to name names, well, let's start with this guy right here, Eric for President. What a complete sellout. Okay, I'm just kidding. Eric is a close personal friend. He's the furthest thing from a sellout, and that's a little bit of a personal joke between us, and I just like calling him a sellout. But he's a good dude, and if you're expecting me to name names in this video, tell stories, that's not happening. So like I said, no naming names, no pointing fingers, and I honestly have the utmost respect for 99.999% of all VR content creators. Compared to what's going on in other categories on YouTube, really, it's really tame in the VR community, and there's not a lot of shenanigans. Now, there will always be those allegations of who bought subs or views, and someone failed to disclose a sponsorship, but honestly, that stuff isn't rampant. It's not really happening, and like I said, you can trust the vast majority of the VR content creators. So then why am I making this video? Well, one reason is, this video is brought to you by Kiwi Design, your one-stop for all VR accessories. Are you looking for a Quest 2 Elite strap that won't suddenly snap on you? Or a face pad that won't irritate your skin? Well, Kiwi has you covered. They carry a large array of accessories from cable management systems to replacement facial covers. There are links in the description, and don't forget to use my affiliate code to help support this channel. Did you like that ad insert right there? Well, that's one of the reasons why I'm making this video today. I'm always talking about anything and everything that's going on in the VR community, and usually I'm gonna be discussing something that personally involves me. Since I recently brought on a sponsor, I thought it was a good time to talk about this, but there's also other factors at play. So I'm gonna be discussing personal decisions I've made, some decisions that I know other content creators have made along the way, and how much of a slippery slope sponsored content could eventually become. Now, I've always been extremely upfront with my community, and that's something I don't plan to ever change. I don't do this full time, nor do I do this for money. In fact, I've turned down many paid offers along the way and just gone ahead and covered the game or topic or whatever it is anyway, free of charge, simply because I thought it was best for the community or I wanted to see a developer succeed. But I do one day want to transition to this full time, and I don't know if I'll always have that luxury. So talking about sponsorships, I think, is going to be very important. So why are sponsorships basically mandatory if you want to go full time? Well, anyone who does this full time will tell you that your ad revenue should be one of the smallest pieces of your overall income. Why? Well, one, it's not a lot of money unless you're making a ton of views. It also will fluctuate like crazy. I mean, 1 month, you can make half of what you made the previous month. The CPM is all over the place. The need for ads, that stuff is very cyclical, and it's all over the place. And on top of that, you know, you're not going to be getting health insurance, a 401k, dental with, you know, just your ad revenue. So even if you are pulling in big numbers, you really want to make yourself more financially stable with other avenues of revenue. So if ad revenue is supposed to be one of the smallest pieces of your overall income, where the hell is the rest of the money coming from? Now, there are subscription services like Patreon where you can do pretty well, but you really shouldn't be relying on people's charity, because if their financial situation changes or the global financial situation changes, well, you're going to see that money disappear very quickly. So again, that's not something very reliable, and it usually isn't a huge slice of the pie either. And this is where sponsors come in. They're willing to spend a crazy amount of money just to get you to talk about their product. Now, before you guys go to the comments and get all anti-sponsorship, try and think of it this way. Imagine you waited tables for a living and your salary is like $2 an hour. That would be your YouTube ad revenue. Now, everything else on top of that is tips, you know, generosity. And that's where like these sponsorship deals or even Patreon, that's where the bulk of your money is going to come from. So if you're expecting people to just survive off their ad revenue, it's not going to be easy for them. On top of that, it could be months or years before your YouTube channel is even generating an income. There are some Entry caps, you got to pass a number of watch hours and a number of subscribers before you're even eligible. So yeah, think about that too. Imagine working for months or a year or even more in some cases before you make a single penny. So just think about it. You want to follow this dream. You want to be a full-time content creator, but your base salary is all over the place. You have no retirement plan, no health insurance. It's really not sustainable. You know, you're going to be in this state of like constant fear unless you're doing millions of views every single month. I'll be honest with you, I can do 500,000 views every single month, and it's not a lot of money in ad revenue, especially in those months where the CPM is really low. It's not much money at all. It's probably about an eighth of what my actual job takes in. Now, when you put that into account of how many hours I spend on YouTube versus how many hours I spend on my full-time job, I'm still making at least 3 times more on my full-time job. Again, with benefits. And just to hammer this home, videos perform terribly sometimes. It just happens. Imagine working on something 6+ hours and getting a return of $10. And that's after 2 years of doing this. And you still come across these videos that just ultimately fail and you make no money. That's the world of content creation. So if and when I go full-time on this channel, you could obviously expect sponsors. Now, the type of sponsor I take on, I think that's where the integrity truly lies. If you're just taking on people you don't care about, just for the money, yeah, we have a problem. And that is our next topic. Well, what's the worst that can happen with these sponsorship deals? So I've discussed my personal experience with PR companies that had insane contracts, that had so many strings attached and basically wanted to put words in your mouth. Obviously, those were non-starters for me. But like I said previously, there are some of these studios, like Raid Shadow Legends, that'll throw you a ton of money for just mentioning their game. And I'll be honest, I don't really blame a content creator who does that. Now, there are 3 areas where this gets very gray, though. The first one is when a content creator fails to mention that their content is sponsored. Now, this is a huge no-no, but it does happen. And sometimes you're relying on that person's opinion. You've been watching them for a long time. You've come to trust them. And they're not being fully honest with you. They're saying something is the most amazing, latest, greatest, whatever it may be. And because you think there's someone you can trust, you might go ahead and purchase a product. Obviously, huge no-no. That really shouldn't be happening. I don't really know of any significant cases of that going on. Now, the second gray area is when a content creator just doesn't care what they're promoting. They just want the money. And honestly, you might be thinking, well, any of those content creators have no credibility and people aren't going to listen. You're wrong. There's plenty of people pulling in huge numbers who have no credibility to the people who are knowledgeable in the specific community. Maybe I'll post some of those people because they're not in the VR community, but they still make an insane number of sales, even though their online credibility is absolute trash. And if you look into them, they're complete phonies, but they still make those sales. And some of these content creators will even go as far as purposely misinforming people. They'll say this product is better than this product, when that's just a straight lie and they're just trying to help sell this product. Obviously, you know, this is as bad as it can possibly get when it comes to sponsored content. This was an area that I was afraid that VR content creation was going to start heading down with, you know, Facebook's dominance. I will get back to that subject later. I don't believe that's the case, but we'll dive into that a little bit more later. But for now, well, let's get into that third reason where these sponsorships can go really wrong. This is when content creators basically exploit indie developers or small studios, charging insane prices for them to produce a video about their game or their product. There's no real return there for them. And the YouTuber or the content creator should know this. The deal should be mutually beneficial. They shouldn't be thinking of it, you know, oh, I want the biggest bang. I want to make the most money for my product. And I understand that, you know, that's capitalism, but that's not great for the VR industry as a whole. So you really shouldn't be charging insane prices when you know that the developer is not going to get a true return. This really should be mutually beneficial, and that's exploitation, at least as far as I'm concerned. Now, again, I have to say that I trust the integrity of 99.99% of VR content creators, but you see how this could be a slippery slope, especially when you're getting, excessive amounts of money for a little bit of work. It's easy to just keep doing it. I mean, think about it. Making 6 figures a year, getting tons of free swag, hardware, games, and just playing video games all day. At that point, when you're making a lot of money, you'll just have someone editing your videos for you and making your thumbnails, helping you come up with titles. So you basically just play video games, get free stuff, and make money. I mean, that sounds like the dream. That's what we all want. But it shouldn't come at the cost of selling out. So what is the current state of VR content creation? Now, I do have some inside information that I can't really share yet. I hope that changes. If it does, I'll share more. And those of you who follow this channel will know that my relationship over the past few months has been pretty strained with Facebook. I make a lot of content that they don't really enjoy watching, and I can understand. My Facebook contacts did ghost me for an extended period of time. That has changed, though. They are willing to talk to me. They've been much more agreeable with me lately. And honestly, if a company wasn't going to let me be me or got offended by me just calling it like it is, stating my opinion, then I don't want to work with them, even if it hurts the channel. Now, I don't aim to be controversial. Sometimes I just have strong opinions. But like I said, Facebook is talking to me again. I don't know if I just got large enough that, they noticed me more, or whatever the case may be, but we are friendly, which is good. For the record, I have zero plans to ever do any type of paid content with Facebook. That would immediately get me labeled a sellout or shill. It's a huge conflict of interest to the channel. How am I supposed to cover other topics if I was taking money from Facebook? So if you guys think I'm going to be talking about going down that route, no, I am not. And I'm happy to say I thought Facebook was going to be taking this approach. They really were going to look to take YouTube content creators, get them under contract, control what they, the do's and don'ts, what they can and can't say. I really thought that was coming up. But I'm happy to say that it doesn't look like that's the case. Now, again, I can't go into detail, but I really thought some complete sellout contracts were on their way from Facebook. Honestly, that's what I thought was coming. But take it from me, that's not the case. If you see some YouTubers, they'll probably be talking about something similar in the near future, or you see some things that look like red flags that make you think some content creators are selling out, just take it from me. I'm telling you that's not the case. Sorry to leave things so vague, but I know this wasn't my normal type of video, but I am committed to covering everything VR, so I thought this was an important topic. It also is a compound of different factors. First, me taking Kiwi on as a sponsorship, which, it took a lot of consideration before I was willing to do it. The second is this new information that, I recently came across. And finally, just random scenarios like people jumping on my Everslot video and accusing me and other content creators of being paid for making our review. They said, wow, too many YouTubers are talking about this game. It's got to be paid for. They made you say these things, which is pretty ridiculous, but it all wraps into this. That's the opinion that people have. That's what some people believe, that we're taking money constantly. Some of us would wish that is the case. Some of us are too scared for the integrity of the channel. Whatever the case may be, this is an important subject, and I wanted to bring it up. I honestly can't wait to see the comments on this video. I think they're going to be all over the place. Some supportive, tons of hate. It's going to be a fun time. If you enjoyed this video, guys, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. And as always, I will see you guys on next time.